everyone, and welcome back to Bear's Reading Nook. I'm Kara, and today we're going to be doing a secret video. Basically, there are a few different booktubers that I've seen that are doing like reading like, insert booktuber here. So this is a reading like my grandpa. And the reason I wanted to do this, and specifically do this in March, is because I actually lost my grandpa last March, and in a weird way, this is kind of something that I feel like I can do to like honor him and also still be like close to him. Weird, I know, but whatever, we're just gonna do that. And so I'm just gonna go over the various books that I plan on reading. There are, I would classify 2 short books and then 2 longer books. So let's just talk about these books. So the first is like an old like falling apart copy of Treasure Island, which I've never read, and this was like his copy of this book, and it was, I think, one that he really enjoyed reading. I could be wrong. But I'm excited to read this, and I've definitely been saving it for some time when I felt like reading it, and that would be in March. Next, we have, was it? The House on the Cliff, which is the second Hardy Boys book. So my grandpa actually had the first Hardy Boys book, and I read that, I believe, last year, and so basically I'm just continuing on with a series that I think he enjoyed growing up, and thus book 2 of the Hardy Boys series. And this one's like 180 pages. This one is, oh gosh, oh my gosh, it's so falling apart, the binding, no. This is 230, but like the writing's decently sized. So I also have an audiobook, which is by Ken Follett, and that is The Third Twin, which sounds interesting. Basically, this person has software that identifies identical twins that were reared apart, so like, yeah, interesting. And then there is apparently a breakthrough of identical twins born weeks apart to different mothers at separate locations. And then basically a law student who's one of the researcher's subjects is identified in a police lineup as the like attacker in a crime. But basically it doesn't look like it's actually him, so there's the potential that it's a twin or a third twin, according to the title. So that's just like a weird over-the-top thing, but that was one of the authors that I believe my grandpa really enjoyed. And then this chonky boy. I pretty much knew that this author was one that I would probably end up reading if I did this kind of TBR challenge. And that is Clive Cussler, because my grandpa had so many of his books, like so many. And this one is, so he has like 5 different series, I think, at least. There's a lot. I looked them up, but anyway, there's a lot, and it seems like even if they are connected, it's more like maybe things tie in a little bit, but for the most part, they're separate individual stories. And so this is, I believe, book 15 in the Dirk Pitt series, I think. And so this is Poseidon's Arrow, which I believe is following a an attack submarine that can basically make really good like time underwater, and the key element of the prototype of this sub is missing and the man who developed it is dead. And it sounds really weirdly interesting, so that's why I picked that one. But yeah, so these three, as well as The Third Twin, are the books that I plan to read in the month of February for the secret TBR of reading like my grandfather. So I realized kind of in filming this video that it's kind of a way for me to like not grieve but process the fact that, you know, it's been a year since my grandpa passed away. And thinking of doing this video, I was also thinking about different things that I remember about him. Simple, stupid things about how he often, you know, would have Kool-Aid, very rarely drink water, but like always there was Kool-Aid around. Or the fact that he looked extremely scary but was basically a giant teddy bear. And just like how much he cared for my sister and I. To kind of give you guys an idea of just him and how much he cares, and you know what I mean by the whole teddy bear thing, I'm just gonna kind of put some pictures of him and me. If there's other people in there, just for privacy reasons, I'm going to like not show their faces, but just so you guys kind of get an idea of who he was through pictures. I do also have some like actual like physical ones, so we'll do these too. Boop. So that is little me and him, and we're adorable. He also was really into like, ooh, there we go. He was also really into like NASCAR and like stuff like that, building like various things. He was like rebuilding a 46 or 48 Chevy, and every summer him and my grandma would end up like, you know, just traveling in their RV to like come see us while also following like NASCAR races and stuff like that. And I think the last time that they traveled out was actually for my graduation from college, so it's definitely been a bit since they traveled. Not saying when I graduated from college because I feel old. But yeah, just looking at the pictures and doing this video brought up a lot of memories, and it's bittersweet but also makes me happy just like remembering those good times. Okay, so the first book that I read for this was The House on the Cliff, and basically it was okay. I think this is like an average like 3-star read. Basically, you know from the get-go like who the baddie is, and the mystery ends up being like something else. but mysteries have come a long way from this, and while I did, like, enjoy it, it was just okay. And basically, the story of this is that the father is trying to take down a smuggling ring, specifically a, like, certain, like, smuggler, and his sons decide to help him with that and help track down the smuggler. And yeah, I mean, that's basic story. I can't really tell you much because it is like 180 pages. So yeah, the next book that I read was Poseidon's Arrow by Clive Cussler and Dirk Cussler. So basically, this follows the story of Dirk Pitt, who is investigating the kind of like death of a scientist and working on retrieving some tech for a, like, experimental submarine that goes missing when the scientist is found dead. There are a lot of different characters in here and a lot of different, like, story threads that go on in this. I did enjoy this. It was long. I don't feel like it had to be this long. I figured out who the bad guy was kind of not too early on, but still like a good bit like early. And can I just say, this is definitely like, this definitely has big dad vibes, because I mean, you have like Navy or some form of like military like services, you have submarines, you have kind of like historical fiction element in it, you have like chase scenes, stuff like that, action stuff. Yeah, it definitely had a lot of dad vibes to it, but I did actually really enjoy this one. I think this is still going to be like a 3.5 stars, but I enjoyed it. The next book that I was reading, or I should say I tried to read, because I ended up DNFing this, and like, I was not planning to. I think I got like 2% into the audiobook, so not far at all, but basically, I think it was The Third Twin by Ken Follett or something like that. My issue with this book was more of the fact of like how the character that we were introduced to was like describing and talking about like people, but specifically women. And I know you're not supposed to like this character from the get-go, like it's obvious, but something about the way that he was specifically talking about these women and like how he enjoyed seeing people like afraid, and like the description of that, as well as just like a few other things, I know, like, it both made me want to take a shower, and due to the way that he was describing certain things, to never shower again. It was creepy, and I was not for that. So I ended up DNFing that, and I am currently reading Treasure Island, and am about 124 pages in. It's okay. Not my favorite, but it's an interesting pirate story, and I think for me so far it's just been really predictable in parts, and I just kind of wish it wasn't, but also it is more like, I think, a children's type of book, so that is where I'm at with these books, and I will let you know my thoughts when I finish Treasure Island. I did it! I read the 4th book. Overall, this ended up being a 3-star read. Basically, for me, it just seemed like a basic adventure story. And yeah, it's a classic, like, children's book, so that's a possibility. It seemed really predictable throughout the entire story. I did, however, like the way that it ended. This isn't a new favorite, but I read it, and now I know it's not a new favorite, but I still enjoy the piratey aspect of this. So yeah, with this being the last book of the Reading Like My Grandpa vlog, it's officially done. So with this being a 3-star, I believe another 3-star book, a 3.5, and a DNF, I can safely say, at least to me, that even though I love my grandfather, I do not love the books that he enjoys. And there's no problem with that at all. But yeah, this is really fun, and who knows, maybe I'll do another one and kind of like continue the series with either other members of my family or friends. But yeah, with that, that is the end of this video, and I will see you guys next time in the Bear's Nook. Bye!